the other stuff.
The other everything
And
else.
hey, it can get tired when you're in a smoky casino and you're on your fifth drink and you can't read the dice anymore. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to do something else just to get out of the strip and go do something different. And there's very few places in the United States you can actually do what we do.
Now, what is the top speed that you've personally done in one of the cars at Speed Vegas?
Well, like I was saying earlier, the Ferraris are capable of 151. The ironic part of that is it's a lot driven with the weather. The humidity has to be just right. Temperature has to be just right. You have to have great air, and great air.
Oh yeah.
And believe it or not, the top I've ever been is 151, and that's with a customer. I've only personally driven 149. I have
Okay.
never driven 151 just because the weather conditions weren't perfect. So the fastest I've been is with a customer, believe it or not.
Yeah, and the air in Vegas is huge. So racers, that's a
Yeah.
tip. Find a friend, Eric Maxfield, and buddy up with him because he'll have a race air or a weather station, and you'll need to know the air because I mean we've seen it go from 1,000 feet in corrected altitude up to 5,000 feet, and
Oh, yeah, just like anywhere, really.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Just like
So
anywhere. Yeah, you got to know what you're doing. Corrected altitude's everything. The track does sit about 2,600 feet in real altitude, just to let you know. It's a little above Vegas. Vegas is 2,000. As a matter of fact, if you're at the track, you can actually look down on Las Vegas. We're out just far enough to where you can look into the valley. It's actually a very cool view.
oh, okay. So if you're
And
at the top of the platform there in the pits or in the concession building, that's a good view.
that's a great view. We have an observation platform. It'll be open not only for the public, but for anybody who comes in the facility, even spotters, whatever you want to bring, that'll be open. It's all up to whoever wants to go up there. And yeah, you can see almost the whole track. One thing you might bring with you, it's at the beginning of the straightaway, I would bring a pair of binoculars. If you want to see the end of turn one, turn two, turn three, bring binocs, and that'll make your view even a lot better. But yes, from that platform, you can see Vegas with no problem. It's a pretty cool view. It's like I said, they put a lot of thought into that facility. I mean, they faced it the right way to where it's not hot in the afternoon. I mean, they really thought it out well.
Now walk me through it. If someone's hauling ass down the straightaway, turn one's going to be a right-hander. Is that correct?
It is. There's a chicane at the corner at the end of the straightaway. Turns right, then a quick left.
So if
And
they
then,
blow turn one, how much runoff is there?
there is a lot of runoff, actually. That'll be up to Mark and policing all that because it is flat blacktop. If somebody wants to run through turn one, that'll be up to him to police. Um, I don't know what he's going to set up so that no one cuts the corner and keeps going. But I personally, I haven't blown turn one in any of the cars. So you have to really, really be off your game to blow turn one.
Have you seen some of these guys?
Oh, I
I'm
know
one
it'll
of them.
happen. Yeah, I know it'll happen. I just don't know exactly when, how, and who.
Yeah, but
So
the first time I did Thunderhill West, I blew turn one on one of the starts, and I don't even know
oops.
how I ended up. I almost got all the way into the barriers, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it's like, man, I really screwed that turn up. And then the dust settled, and the guy's
Hmm.
coming right at me. It's like, wow, he must have just followed my screw up right off the track because we're.
That it's about the left-hander, right? Yes, I'm
Yeah,
well aware of that.
yeah. I still don't know how
Yep.
I blew that one.
Yeah, you got to make that one. Can't make that one, and it's a shorter day.
So you're saying you make a right-hander for turn one, but on the left side, the basically the inside of the turn, that's all asphalt.
It is lots of runoff.
Okay.
Then, like I say, that'll be totally up to Mark how he wants to police that. That's not a Speed Vegas issue. So that'll be totally his ballpark on the way he wants to handle whoever cuts that corner.
I'm a sprint racer, so I'm gonna hit the first corner and just fly over the rest of them, and just wait for them to not make a call.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to park someone there for the day and start to write down numbers.
Yeah.
I'm a desert racer, by the way, back from the 90s.
Okay.
And I can remember a bunch of desert racers that the race director knew there was a shortcut, and he didn't tell anybody. And he went out there, and he didn't drive his truck, so nobody could recognize the vehicle. He walked to that spot and took a notepad and just wrote down numbers all day long. And whoever cut there got disqualified.
But he didn't tell
I'll
him
never
until the end of
forget
the
that.
day.
He didn't tell him until the end of the race. Put his hand out? No. I mean, so yeah, he DQ'd, I think it was like 7 cars or something.
Wow.
I'll never forget. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I started my life in desert racing. I didn't really start in go-karts.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess so. Did you grow up in Vegas?
Yes, I was actually born here, believe it or not.
Okay. Actually, you guys even have an off-road facility there at Speed Vegas.
We do. And I drove it. It is very cool. You got 8 jumps. It's actually a little longer than our sports car track, just by a little bit. So it's a little more than 1.5 miles long. And we get rave reviews on those things. They're set up very well. Our shock guys know what they're doing. It's a very good experience. It's exciting. People come off going, wow, want to do that again too. It's on the other side of the sports car track. It will be running at the same time that the kart race will be running.
Okay.
Because they are not going to interfere with each other. They take the trucks right around the sports car track, and they will be running that nonstop while the kart races are going.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Todd, is there anything you want to wrap this episode with?
Just watch the internet, watch changes if there are any. Obviously, the unexpected happened. Hopefully, nothing like that happens again, ever in our lifetime. Make your plans in advance. You got any questions, get a hold of me. If you hear a rumor about the race, oh, it's going to be this, oh, it's going to be that, call me directly. Get a hold of me. I'm sure Jason will put up contact information directly. I'm the one. You can contact Mark. Might be a little harder to get a hold of him, but I'm the one that works there. If somebody's going to know something, and let's say I don't know the answer, I'll call Mark. I'll find out. But call me. I'll dispel any rumors that there are and make sure you get the facts right and get them right the first time. And if I don't have the answers, I'll make sure and find them for you.
Perfect. So speedvegas.com, that's the website. The event is October 11th, 2020. And for those that kind of missed this podcast, Speed Vegas is just on the outskirts of Las Vegas, Nevada. Entertainment capital of the world.
You are correct, sir. Hopefully.
All right, Todd. Well, I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Hey, thanks for touching base with me. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good event. This is exciting. And for you racers out there, get your pre-registration in early. Get a hold of NCK to find out when they're going to start taking those. We have to be very candid. The pit spots are going to be somewhat of an issue. So hopefully.
Now let me. Can I clarify that?
Absolutely.
Me and Mark got on the phone for a couple days, and we mapped out what we call our skid pad, and
Yep.
I mapped out a lot of the area that SpeedVegas is going to allow us to use.
Okay.
Blacktop is not a challenge. It's just we don't have 1 million square feet of it like the Rio does. But there is plenty of pit space. SpeedVegas is going to allow us more than I thought they would, and they're going to be very generous. We're not going to be able to park where the sports cars park, but Mark actually made a complete map with lots of pit space. There may be places or people who cannot bring their 53-foot trailer with them, but believe it or not, we have some of those spaces where you can actually park something that long. It's going to be a little more organized pit-wise. In other words, they're probably going to tell you where to pit rather than just showing up on Sunday morning. And that's going to be the only challenge is we'd like to probably know what you have so that we can give you the best space possible. It's not going to be to the point where everyone is going to be upset. No, we want everybody to be happy. We want the event to come off well, but pit space is going to have to be a little more organized than it is other places.
Understandable. Now, when you do the pit spots, are you actually going to have to utilize some of the gravel area?
The gravel area, now the way I'm speaking out of turn because this is Mark's deal.
Okay.
This is NCK's race. But the way I see it is a lot of the gravel should be used to park the trailers and the guys that are usually in long vehicles.
Okay.
And we use that for them. A lot of the other spaces can be kept for people on the asphalt with the shorter vehicles. That's the way I see it happening.
Okay.
There's a lot of pit spaces. I know at Supernats, I've run it twice. There's limited space. You have a very small area to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have more than that.
Okay.
You will have plenty of room for you and your cart and probably your vehicle. If we can't park your vehicle right there by your go-kart, it'll be a very short distance away.
Now, will racers be allowed to come in Saturday to park, or
they
is all
are
the parking going to be?
Point.
Oh, go ahead.
At this point, it'll be Saturday night.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be any later. I can't put a time on it right now because it's so far in advance. But we don't want you pulling in there at 1 a.m. There's going to be a time limit on it. You're going to have it there. You're not going to be able to camp. Again, this goes back to the fact that this could be a bigger event in the future. Anything's possible in the future. They would like this to kind of be smaller and then work itself bigger later. So that's a possibility in the future. This time you will not be able to camp on site. You can leave your trailer there and go play in Vegas if you want to that night, if that's your thing. Drop the trailer and run.
Perfect. And then there will be more details on the NCK website, nckroadracing.com. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Todd. I think we covered everything as far as up to date.
All right. Well, I try. And if you've got another 4 hours, I'm here.
Let's see. How many hours do I have? I have an hour and 45 minutes left on this episode.
Oh, God. Well, you don't want to talk to me for another hour and 45 minutes, trust me. I can hear my own voice, and I don't want to listen to me for another hour and 45 minutes.
Well, why do you think I started a podcast? So I could just hear myself. It's great.
Okay, very nice. All right, I get it. I understand.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on tonight, and we'll have you back in a couple of months as we get closer, and maybe do an episode of just hashing out the details, and hopefully by then you'll have something worked out with the upper management and some special discounts for the NCK guys and hotel information.
Would love that.
All that good stuff.
And Obviously, with what's going on right now, things are going to change, and we don't know which direction